Hello, this is Gerald Johan van Waas with his or mine educational channel related in the last couple of videos entirely to the Sound Inform book, also called Methodical Synesthesia, also available in two separate parts, and in a couple of weeks there will be ebooks, cheaper ebooks for people who want to check it out and don't want to spend much money. I have some options as well. But of course, for all the other people who have internet, most of the people, they can also simply check the videos and you can learn to grasp the letters and the meaning of letters a bit better thanks to these videos, hopefully. So what is this about Sound Inform or Sounds into Forms? This is already part 6. I'm not going to say much about the introduction, but is of course I will continue to simplify, which I not 100% did in the last one. So I will have some extra additions and stronger specifications for the last part, because I was a bit quick. I'm doing these videos in between jobs, let them say, my job. That I have at this moment, but my intention was to simplicate kind of the method with a kind of resuming method, where you can notice the form, where you can transform the form, where you can understand all the interactive meanings of the letters, the sounds, and the writing, all this combination, and how to change it into a form. Last video was more focusing upon where can I place these letters, than explaining like how can I express this form in all kinds of variations, and I will do that a little bit better this time. But it will be the part 6, the QVG letters will be explained, but I will lift off where I will continue where I lift off, and I will repeat myself a little bit, so it's a little bit more going towards the simplification itself, not the whole package. The simplifications will become more visible this time. So we had it already about the letters that expressed our jump towards another place, another move, another idea. So all these letters that express the leaving off idea of the centered point thinking and go to another center and have try to develop some means for this. And as soon as we have these means how to do that, okay, we have a tool to do this, and then we can even reach objects and ideas that are even further away from us. Simply because we use our tool and we expand our tool even beyond our own limitations of values. We can use a package of values that is larger than ourselves and still watch what we can understand from it, but we make the connection with the correct values, how to connect to something else and someone else who is further away from our understandings, or even place. But this time we will go closer and closer to the finalizing of the closing of the connection, with all the possibilities are connected with it. And this last part, the third part, is also the third the goal itself, that we try to connect. But we started from a few other letters. I will repeat myself. So this was the scheme that I started from. So we have at the left ourselves, our center point, and these, and then the tool in the middle in red, the tool with which to connect to other forms, and they are at certain various distances from us. So the Q is the clue also, and the Q to connect to the other one is the means here that we have, the tool that we have to connect in the middle, there we connect to the things that are still within our reach of vision. As you can see, that one there, it's still within our reach of what we can see. We only see parts of it maybe, but we make the connection thanks to this middle point, so somewhere in the middle of values in between us, or 2 points, or 2 center points. So this is our own vision. We look towards the values, the new values that are commonly understood by both parties, and this it reflects itself to the new center. It will be a different interpretation, but it will reach the other party. It will be translated, it will be delivered, we will get feedback in the end. The feedback is less, it will be important, but the connection point is the first attention that we give it, and this connecting point, this interaction action point will be used as a mediator. So we know here, and we'll find this point of interaction. We know here that this mediator here, or the Q, will act as a mediator, that's for sure. This mediator will make the exchange between two different central words, points or viewpoints possible. The next letter, the V, is again, we focus ourselves onto our new set of values, common values. We don't see the other one, but we can use tool. There is a common good here in the middle that will be used by us and by someone else. We don't see what he thinks, what the other party thinks, what he does with it, but we know they're using the same material. So the next point was, of course, a material. For the Q, we couldn't use the tool directly as a tool that you can say, okay, it's my tool, so my interpretation is correct. No, it's an interaction. But here, the intermediate region is the second part is volume also always. So they have a tool for comparable reasons and for different reasons. So what the other one does with it, we don't know, but we know the material is exchange. We notice only our own vision, but we know someone else is using the same material or is digging from the same material. In a two-dimensional region, we know that there should exist some reference points, and I will tell you which reference points these are. Some part of it will be ours, and another part will be yours. Yours, as in the meaning of the word, it fits quite well. But it is, in fact, it's not only yours, it is someone else's, it is these kind of words fit. So one part ours, the other one someone else's. And of course some elements will not be used. So you have some variations in there. So either it is for, you can see the material from our own central view, where you can say, I have this, and some other parts will be, okay, I might have this as well, but what we are sure about is he has it. Now, this is the material, he has it, or it belongs to him. So all this intermediate this whole intermediate region of material means also that it will have all kinds of these variations with a V again. And it is a kind of variations of ownership. So it's my thing, or it's our thing, or it's his thing, or it doesn't belong to anybody. All these variations are possible. And we have two kinds of sounds in this region that fit very well with it. The first one is the three directions, as you can see, that have no destiny at all. So a whole set of variations that are not connected, are not interconnected. I already explained as the F of the F There's no clear destiny in this. But here, all the directions, all three directions have a clear destiny. The F and the V are the same sounds, but here the sound is emphasized, it's stronger, and it connects. That's what happens, and that's the difference between these two sounds, and that's why they fit the registry. It's about material, going in all directions, all kinds of directions, but with the V, we find the direction. We know where it goes to. So just one more repetition. The Q will be an intermediate of central values. So it goes from one center to our tool center to the next center. That's the centers are interconnected. With the V, we still have the tool with its own center, but there will be an interchange of material only. With the G, the last letter, there will be an intermediate only of the limitations, of the limits of our tool as well, and then we can reach a third point. That's with the G, a third kind of point. It's further away, it's no more within our reach, there's no interaction, it is farther away, but it's at the limits of our perspective, and it exists there. There is something there. Also, if you would say, okay, in which region does this exist? It is all the limits of all the regions there in between. There, yeah, there will be the G. But if you want to find out how does it look like, how can we make a form that fits with the G? Okay, we will fill it in with a form here. So we have here the form of our starting point, the connecting part, and then the part which is further away, but it is connected because of the distance. The distance is still within reach of the limits of its own region, so it is still within limits. So in these three parts I can express it well. So with a simplification, without the what is not needed to express this, and then with interconnection that I adapt to the form, so there is then you get this kind of form. So I connect them in the limits at the edges close together, and then you get this form. As you can see, there's an interactive amount of distance at the edges, so this form fits with the G. Of course, in general, the G will span a much larger area, but the interaction itself will always be somewhere at the borders, and so I materialize this into this form. It fits actually very well with the image and the word oog, the Dutch word, which means eye. And here you can see, and if you think about it, your eye, if you check your eye, the form of the eye, it's always disappearing. Every time it moves, it disappears behind its connecting borders. So this kind of form and movement is something that you can check and see in the eye. And also in this form you can recognize it, but that's more or less what is in oog. So the space as from O connected with two O's, so connected in two spaces, and the G there at the edges, so it is moving directly beyond the limits or edges of its form, and that's one of the ways to show the form of the eye. We go to the next letter, which will be not visible immediately, the V. So we have here we try to emphasize a formation of the forms in here. So one part is put towards the middle, and the other one is going towards somewhere else. So with the simplification, and here with the movement that you can show in this way, that over time, the movement over time, the actual move, it can be expressed pretty well in this way. And what happens actually also is like what can happen actually is like something moves forward, and during the move forward it will lose some of its elements and it will gain some of its elements. That is also possible because some elements will go elsewhere and other elements will come with the main direction. So it is a process where some material will be gained and other material will be lost or will be shared. It is a kind of variations. I didn't express it completely here, but that's also the idea that is behind the V as well, which is possible with the V. It's just something that you could remember already. Okay, this is in the letters, this is available in the letters as an idea. With the difference between V and W, the W is also called in French the double V, by the way. It is the variations that you have in the V, there are even more, because the variations in W, it's just like this very soft sound, where the V is again, it's emphasized, it makes more connections. Here with the double V, the connections are not, they're in a way, it is connected with many more parts and many more differences. But there's so many differences in different parts that the connection gets weaker, and the form gets weaker, and the references are losing of its clarity. So the form can be, will change itself a little bit like that. That's something I express here, because with this way you can learn your synesthesia to visualize the letters better. So the V is in fact then just very short. It is the clear connection of a part of material, and there's a shared condition or shared material. It could be expressed also like this. And the word van, as an example, here there are two parts interconnected, or there's a part that is interconnected, and it has the same material in it, and there's an extra content in the middle. So van can be expressed like this as well. So without the movement, but it is present in this presentation. And Q can be expressed like this as well. It was a little bit of simplification, but you can maybe it's helpful to have these examples. Anyhow, we start again from our first starting point, the bridge towards the other, with the tool. It's in 3 parts, and we continue from here to make more possibilities. Because the next level will have more complexity, of course, so that we know that the last series, there are 3 series in 3, and the last series, they're all about finding the limits. So where are the limits of the connections? Where are the limits of myself? Where are the limits of my center point of vision? What can I still reach and what I can't? And these last letters, Q, V, G, were about that. The next ones will be about the volume, of course, again. This is the second part, first center, volume, then limits. In the limits that we discover, we see this from the center point of vision. We bridge there a couple of things with the Q, V, and G, and we will continue. But I will repeat it first, not so that I don't have it too complicated, and I will make it more simple and more visible. Here is my starting point in number 1 here. I use my tool here at number 2, and I try to reach the number 3 part, so the other one, so the conclusions, and they are in variations far away from me. So the middle part is the active part, also for as a new center, the extra center that I will use to make the move. And there I will meet the elements that connects me to the other parts. Here I express the G and the Q. And here's the resume of everything. So I make the bridge from myself towards the other party, the other vision. You can see the V, the G and the Q at the right places. So you go from one center to the next with the Q. From my center point of view, I will see that there are some elements that can be shared or moved. I can also see from my point of view that there will be limits or excess of limits that I can use as well with the G. All three parts together make also a new tool that we can reach everything that is further away from ourselves. We have a tool, we can use it together, and we know we have a starting point, number 1, and we have an end point, number 3. So here, this larger perspective of what we know, where and what we want to reach will be reachable, simply because we use the tool and the destination together. As you can see, I will cross also my own limitations by simply knowing where to find the borders of not only of my limitations but also of the limitations of the tools that I have and the connecting points that I have. All the goals will be within reach and they will become our next focus. We will reach it because the feedback point will be found. And the whole region of within reach will be fully included. So what did I have then as a result? Here I have it. I see my own limitations in the middle, and the limitations are limited also because of my tool. If I don't have a better tool, I won't go further. But the whole space that surrounds it that includes the other parts that are connected and are interconnected. They have their share. There will be a share, and it will be a common share space of limits that are living inside. This looks complicated, but I will come to the simplification. Here's the first simplification. So within my whole space of working space, from me towards the other points, and the other points will have their share as well into this region of measurements. They can have an active part, and this whole active part is like a space with an activity, and the activity goes from my vision, my input to the output and feedback from the others. So the whole thing is living within this space. Complicated, simplified. This is the H. The H is the breadth also, the breadth which once you see this H somewhere in a word, it also means, okay, I have the possibility to connect and to interconnect with all parts that are included. I'll give you one example. There's a word, whole, which has the H in it, and while it sounds like whole, but there is the H in it, so it makes a difference. So what does this difference do? I will use this as a reference to explain the word whole. So the W we know already is this middle point, a middle thing here, the blue values that are interconnected, and they are all with a lot of variations, a slightly weak force, but it is because of the H with W. So we first have W, we have the frame of the whole region that is interconnecting, so the whole frame fits there, it fits within that, so the W and H will be in that region. That is our structure that we will work with. And then ul will be, okay, the L will be a certain length, and the O will be spaces, and so over length of spaces we can have something there in the middle. The whole, it's only expressed with one O, so it could be just one whole, like there in the middle. But it is with a sound O, so it should be multiple spaces that are interconnected. In fact, it can be the W itself, so even especially with the H as well. So it is, in fact, the expression of it is like with the H, it is that it proves that there's an effective content. With the W, okay, there's a whole range of connections, so it means with an effective content with a whole range of connections. That is what it is expressing. Whole is in fact a little bit like everything which is possible as an that is interconnected, something like that. While whole itself is just one part. It's like one of these holes. As you can see. So we go back to the first expression, the complicated one, but okay, you know what's in it. That doesn't make it so complicated anymore. So the starting region and then the end region. So we have these three letters. Let's look at it from the limits in themselves. They are comparable to each other in wise here in this part. And the last letter there in the middle is the G. So here I will also add a couple of sounds that fit to it. The H, or space, is the H. And on top of it is the G as a softer G, is like like we say it in Dutch and in Scottish, is R. If it's vaguer, the connection, and it's there's a little bit spatial differences. It also goes softer and has more breath. And if it's stronger, the connection is direct. You have of course the G, and of course the direct connection is the Q letter, which is basically a little bit like the K. And K is a breaking up of the normal direction, which it does as well, but there's a connection point, like with the C is connecting as well, but connecting is as a part of a whole. With the Q is the connection from one to one with differences. That's so very, very quick. I hope you understood what I said here. But here's the H in the middle with all the limits and the reaching of the points of connection. But of course we have the connection points is with the elements and the limits and borders as well. The R, the next one, okay, let's put some elements in there as well. These are the regions that are interconnected. The R is in fact also not the points of reference that I had in the H, but it's the volume around it. It's the material around it with the same interconnection as with the H, but not in the space and not in the middle points and not in the center points that are interconnected because of it, but in the whole volume that is expressing and that is forming itself. And these are the volumes that I can see. The volumes with the interconnection. You don't have to connect all of them, but these are the three possibilities, the three letters that I developed from there. There are more possibilities, but I just have the three main differences expressed here. So the three main differences, okay, if you remember, these were the connections with V, with G, and with Q, with its right places, interconnected, and it's going towards the growing. It's growing thanks to the R and the volume. So I connect two letters first from this scheme. I had the V on top and the R in the middle. Together they form VR. Can we express this well? Yes, just let them play together. VR. 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 these were the 3 connection points. Well, can I do that with grr as well? Yeah, why not? So grr, of course, the G, of course, is much further away, so the interconnection will be not so fluently, so there has to be found a connection between them on the limits. So it is easy to express this with a wave. I will do that. So what will be the expression of grr? If you express grr, this is like if the lion says grr, it pushes you to the limit. You get afraid a little bit, and it's also, yeah, it's going towards the limits. So you think it will even cross the limits, and that makes you afraid. If you hear then yeah, it makes you a little bit afraid, because here you see like, I don't want to cross this limit. It's not crossing it yet, but it gives you really the idea of no, something something is going to happen. So be careful with the grr. You go to the edge and you don't cross the limits, but it is about the limits. In fact, grr is used in a couple of words, like in grens in Dutch, which means border, exactly the place where it needs to be with the grr. Gray is also something like the gray zone is also, yeah, something at the border. So it's the gray zone. We don't know really what it is. It's yeah, it's at the edge of the limits of our understanding of what we can see. That's the gray zone. It fits with the meaning, the underlying meaning of grrr, and used in a certain context, in a context. Next letter, the third one in the numerology and the Pythagoras numerology that has been used to give an order to these letters, is the sound he. It's not. I don't know where it's used in language, but I know exactly what it means in this order. So if we would now not just point out the center points, like in the first letter, the volume parts or the material, like in the last letter, but the really borders, so that we can see to where can we go to, and we see what we have as a region in everything that we have as an active region that we know. We have this region. This is a known working area. But if you would express the full area of what is, of all the possibilities, of all the variations that we can have of points that are further away from us and so on, we have a much larger area. So all the possible matches are into this square, but it's not within our reach, because that was the previous image. But it is all of this is possible, even if it's not present. The funny thing about it is that this region is actually crossing the bridge in the space of possibilities, of associations of possibilities. If you make this association that fits with it within this region, you will make a jump to a conclusion which is not there, but which you will make anyhow. So here are the respected or the expected matches, so the 3 kinds of regions that from the other one, the possible matches. So there are 3 points of that are or 3 regions that are the matches to cross. So we have a match there. We understand it. These 3 things are these 3 variations are possible. There are much more variation, but these 3 are accessible. But just imagine that we can also imagine something that is crossing this line and still fits in within our whole system of thinking. Make it come near and make it comparable. If we do that, it makes really a jump of awareness, a jump of conclusions, which is in a way you shouldn't, because it's not there. Or maybe it is there, or maybe it is not, but you jump to the conclusions anyhow. So what You can use it in meditation if you'd like. This gives a kind of wow effect, not because it fits, simply because you make it fit. So it jumps this normal association, which is correct, towards a jump of conclusion, which might not be correct, but it is correct within the system. And because you feel the connection, it makes you laugh a bit, because that's funny. There's another sound which is that's for later. I won't say you yet. I won't tell you yet what it is. Now we will stuck with he. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching this. And if you're very curious to the other sound, which I already gave away, go to the next video. I will record it one of these days when I have some time in between. I will make this. So not all of it you will find in this book Sound in Form, because it's already a variation of what I said before. But if you would like to have to know these variations and compare it, it's comparable, it's compatible. Once you start to understand it, it is very compatible to all the rest that is in the book. Sound in Form. It's not an easy book, I warn you, but it is worth it if you just look in it, let it seep through, and let it find its comparisons to what I say in the videos. The volumes are out on Trafford Publications, and also separate books are available. Thanks for watching. This was Gerald Johan van Waas. Subscribe to my channel if you would like for more instructional videos very soon.